Unless George has the link to do the. That's fine. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jitsi community call. Emil is traveling today, so I'll be trying to run things to the extent that I can. Anybody from the team have anything interesting that we've done lately that we want to tell the community about? I can't think of anything personally, but I'm not always up on everything we're doing. If not, we can open it to the floor. Hopefully we'll be able to give reasonable answers. Or if nobody has any questions, we could just have a very short call.
Hello.
Hello? Yes?
Yes, I have one question about for the React Native.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the people who know about that are here, but you can go ahead and ask. Yeah.
I have seen it's always says that deprecated Gradle feature were used in this build. Make it I already have upgraded Gradle. It's 7 and latest version is also 7.
Yeah, I think that's Gradle warning that certain things are going to change. They're planning to remove certain things in Gradle 8. But anybody know any more details about that? I don't personally do the Gradle development. Unfortunately, I think this is mostly the, I guess this is mostly Sol who does this, and I think he's here today. So perhaps ask on the forum is the best bet. And but I've seen a number of different Gradle projects that have that warning, so I suspect it's going to be.
The error seems to be that some dependencies were not found, so maybe there is some.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, maybe you need to check. Somebody's trying to talk?
Yeah, it's Pavel here. So I think is this a custom version or vanilla Jitsi Meet repo?
It's a 5 days old Jitsi, I think.
Because in Gradle there's a repository definition, and there was a change with remove Jetpack, I think. Actually, let me check.
And unfortunately, like I said, I think the main person who would know about React Native is Saul, who's not here today. So probably, and there's other people who mostly know the other people who mostly know that, and that level of things are also mostly not here. So I'd say just ask on the community forum. It's probably your best bet. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. I will do that. Yes.
All right. Anybody else?
I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
When I close Jitsi Meet application, there's a splash screen. Sometimes it's a little bit of like an ad, and there used to be a check box up in the corner to close that particular thing, but still not close Jitsi Meet app completely. That disappeared about 2 weeks ago, and I'm wondering if there's what the problem is, why that disappeared. The app has not been updated since this is the Electron app image. And I'm just wondering if there's a way to get that back.
Again, I think that unfortunately the right people aren't here to ask today. I'm sorry about that. It's summertime.
Okay. Yeah, it just disappeared. So it seems to, I use the Jitsi servers, right? And and it disappeared. So it seems to be that it's at that end. It would be there rather than.
This is on the Meet Jitsi.
Yeah, this
service?
is on.
Yeah. My guess is we changed something in the branding. But like I said, the people who do that work are not here today. So I mean, I'd be curious if you see the same thing if you go to the beta server.
Right. Okay. I will. I'll check back in a couple of weeks then.
Okay. Yeah. Or like I said, or ask on the community forum because it's
Yeah.
better for getting asynchronous things for people for whom this is not a convenient time zone.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe we should mention that Pavel has posted a. Okay, yeah, Pratik got the message. There is a discussion in the chat box.
Yeah, and since that chat box won't show up in the YouTube recording, this is basically just changing something to change the Maven repos that the Gradle build is referencing. So that might be related to this. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, this is Ren from Bloomberg, and we're creating. We have created a PR for the pop-out feature for a while. It's out there, and the reply is that you're considering it, and I haven't get update ever since. And curious, what's the condition, or what's your thinking about it? Yeah, I'm copy and pasting PR links in the chat.
Sure, let me see.
And by the way, some context, this PR is just initial, and we recently are planning a improvement on the coding pop-out, not the feature-wise, but the coding using React Polo. Yeah, and also we have some questions from the upstream guys who is more familiar with the JVB stuffs about the video constraints if we're using pop-outs.
Yeah, I mean the UI changes. Unfortunately, I don't know what the decision process is. I mean, whether again, the Saul would be the person to ask.
Sure.
Yeah. In terms of the video constraints, I know since I'm a JVB guy, I know somewhat more about that. But basically, your question is, how do you represent video constraints if you're showing something twice? Once in the pop out and once in the main window.
Yeah, that's one of the situations. And another, we're also thinking pop-outs is kind of mimicking the upcoming new feature, the multiple staged view, right? So something like multiple people can show in the large videos. So
I guess if you could clarify, if you could clarify on the the difference between stage sources versus the selected sources in the receiver constraints. Kind of when would you use one versus the other? That's something that we're a little bit curious about.
The practical difference between those two is none. If a source is on stage and it is screen sharing, we will do. Actually, if it's on stage, we will prioritize it a higher resolution for it. So say you have the regular stage view with one participant on stage, we will prioritize this participant until a certain resolution. For example, 360p, 30 FPS for video, or the highest FPS or the highest layer for screen sharing, and only then move on to the other endpoints. If it is only selected but it's not on stage, this behavior doesn't exist.
What do you mean its behavior doesn't exist? It just treated like a regular source?
Yes, which means after the endpoints are ordered, each of them will get 180p first, and then we will do another round where we distribute the remainder of the bandwidth.
Okay.
In other words, I'm sorry, I know this is confusing.
So I guess you're saying that the stage sources are, I guess you have like this greedy bandwidth allocation, I guess, algorithm there.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have multiple sources on stage, I guess, how do you, are you greedy on the first one and then go on to the next one, or are you evenly distributing across those two on stage?
I have to check. I'm checking now.
Yeah, I mean, it's also possible, since we haven't done a lot of, we haven't done multiple on stage very much yet. We may decide that, the current behavior is, not the optimal, and we may end up tweaking this. So
Sure.
if you think the current behavior is not good, let us know, and maybe we'll change it.
Right. So I know that the pinning, the pinning feature is kind of in progress. So I imagine that would be one that would bring up this conversation for you to kind of revisit this, right?
Yeah, I think, sort of exactly. The question of what do you do when you don't have enough bandwidth for everything you want is always a hard problem, and figuring out exactly how to prioritize, better resolution versus seeing more sources is obviously subjective. So to some degree, so like I said, this may be a thing that we end up changing to, depending on our own, view of the user experiences. And if you had, and like I said, if you have opinions that if you think how we're doing it now isn't good, do let us know.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. We can reach out on the forum.
Yeah.
Another question is, so if for example,
can I just finish this one?
I
just looked it up.
Please,
so with multiple on stage, the first one gets allocated greedily, and then the second on stage gets allocated greedily, and so on, and then everyone else.
Okay, good to know. And so my other question is, if we can detect, for example, that a popped out window has been minimized, I guess you would recommend that we would then trigger like new receiver constraints to say, okay, well, that one shouldn't really be getting like preferential treatment anymore. Is that, I mean, that,
yeah, I'd say so. Basically, any train, basically, you should try to make sure that your constraints are always reflect, what you're actually displaying. So if you're not displaying video, don't ask for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
And it's, I mean, obviously, to the extent you can detect that.
Okay, so, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? If not, then I guess we can finish up. So, last call. Otherwise, I guess, Boris, you can stop the recording.